Hello, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, wherever you might be watching me across the nations of the earth. I welcome you once again to this very interesting moments here with Chigo Zendibo. Yes, so without missing words, kindly hit the like buttons once you join us. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so, and of course, share this video. The reason why you have to share the video so that we can get more wider audience, because what we are going to I'm going to pass today is a very important information to be abreast with the current realities in our time, in our world, that of course necessitated the need to begin to discuss those issues and possibly to understand the depth of our predicaments, the depth of the challenge ahead of us or before us, and of course, how to wake up to confront or address those issues. Because nobody is going to fix it for us. As humans, God has given us all it takes, of course, to chart the way forward. Just subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so, and give us a thumbs up so that YouTube algorithm can push this to more audience who might be interested in what we are discussing today. Restructuring my foot, Ohanaeze Oduduwa, the Middle Belt Forum, Disgraced. It has become a necessary end, of course, to some people, that the Nigerians' current situation does not in any way foster any unity, coherence, and progress. And to some organizations or cultural organizations, such as Ohanaeze Ndibo, the Middle Belt Forum, and Oduduwas, and other interest groups has been calling for restructuring. Restructuring has been ringing bell within the Nigerian political space for more than a decade or two now. It has been more the quest, demand for agitation, restructuring alongside has been intensified in the last decade. What may have prompted that? People have understood that the current template under which Nigeria runs does not foster any unity, equity, fairness, and justice. Especially the foundation of the Nigerian state, which is the constitution, does not guarantee equality, fairness, transparency, and equitable distribution of the commonwealth of the nations. Different regions felt they are marginalized. Some felt they are not carried along. And they begin to identify those flashpoints, those important points that must be addressed in order for every personality or ethnic nationality within the Nigerian project or contraption to begin to feel sense of belonging. And as such, they said the only way such can be addressed is to go back to the foundation, which is the constitution that already has been confirmed to be fraudulent, a template by the oligarchies of the military juntas drafted this to defend their interests. It was not intended to protect the interests of the ethnic nationalities that is inherent within the Nigerian states, and such necessitated the need for restructuring in order to address the economic imbalance, the structural imbalance, and of course the social imbalance in the system. But unfortunately, this call has been sustained. Even while there was call or renewed move for agitation, or those who are trying to secede from the country, trying to pull away from the country, they understood that of course, take away what belongs to us to an average. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. We're back live and more, of course, ready to go. What I'm saying is that the topic of today is to focus on the defeat of restructuring. Restructuring has been a recurrent decimal within the public domain of most recent, especially in the last 2 decades, or more pronounced in the last decade. What informed restructuring, despite the fact that different people have different interpretations or meaning, of course, they read about restructuring. For the North, they see restructuring as something that does not foster or protect their interests. If by restructuring you mean each region should control their resources and manage their own population and advance their own cause at their own pace, the North are seemingly, of course, believe that they have some disadvantage over that restructuring could mean for them not having access to the crude or not having access to the common wealth that is being shared on monthly basis, which of course they have the comparative advantage. They have the highest local government in terms of sharing of the resources, because the higher local government you have, the more, of course, a revenue accrued to you from the federation account. So to them, talking about restructuring in the context of controlling your resources and managing your resources, it means, of course, a very destructive development for them. They wouldn't want to miss what they have enjoying before now, but forgetting that they also have a comparative advantage, expanse of land. They forgot about the coconut, the granite pyramids that was the major source of revenue, where they share 50-50. 50 goes to the federation account, while 50 is returned to the region or where it is produced, as against the 13 derivation now that is prevalent because of the oil comes from the south. Now, but to an average Southerner, he believes that restructuring will enhance the development of the region and, of course, impact positively on the masses. But that is not the case with an average Northerner who, unfortunately, does not understand the advantage of restructuring and the comparative advantage they have. They have vast arable lands, and could also turn it to gold. They have gold, they have other mineral resources that could be harnessed to better the lots of the northerners. So no part of this country or region of this country could be considered disadvantaged when it comes to resource, natural resources, and human capital resources. But the unfortunate thing that we have some politicians who are very docile, who are very lazy, who can't think, who can wear that thinking cap to see how to navigate out of this woods, have to create wealth, create enabling environment that will engender prosperity for all, especially their own region. During the era when Nigeria practiced federation or confederation, Awolowo advanced the West. Of course, Emma Okpara advanced the East. And what happened in the North? There were economic boom. Proceed from cash crops, from granite, pyramids, and all that advanced the cause of the North. But unfortunately, after the uh, discovery of crude, people tend to relax because it is a cheap money. This is the easiest way to become lazy and get rich overnight. But that is not a subject of interest today. We're just laying a foundation for today's discussion. And let me bring you back to, of course, our subject of interest today. That's in a democratic setting, in any country that wants to move forward, must have respect to the rule of law. The rights of the people or the ethnic nationalities must be respected and should not be seen under democracy to be a system that lords it over to other regions or ethnic nationalities. The statement coming from the vice president, the current vice president, Shetima, presupposes that he do not consider the plight, the feelings, and the interests on the contributions of other regions or ethnic nationalities when it comes to decision making, when it comes to matters of importance as it borders on existence or collective existence as a people. His body language, his utterance or diction or choice of words can be boldly seen to read arrogance, to read insistence, to need to read you have no say over this matter, that we decide, we are the ruling class, regardless of the fact that the president is from the south. The North are believing that they are in charge of Nigeria, they are in charge of matters of importance. They only decide where Nigeria can navigate. They control the radar of the Nigerian state. And when it comes to lawmaking, enacting of law, that they are the one that holds the key. He said very clearly, unambiguously, restructuring my foot. The Oduduwas had been calling for restructuring so that they were able to manage their own security, manage their own, of course, economy and resources to the development of their own people at their own pace. The same way they made of it as a result of the farmer herders clash, the region has been very restive, has become a theater of war. And they say, let's control our resources, develop our own pace, make our own laws, of course, that can address the local needs of or peculiar needs of each individuals or regions. But Shetima does not have regards for such inputs or contributions. No wonder the confab of 2014 was discarded No wonder the Abu Accord was jettisoned. And of course, we are seeing it more pronounced that it is only the interest of the North, if not jeopardized, can only sell. Whatever opinion coming from any other quarters could be treated as irrelevance and of no value. Restructuring my foot is an affront, is a slap, is a derogatory statement, is an assault and insult to the intelligence of his listeners, and more especially for those who believe they still have confidence, they still have future in the Nigerian state. That if Nigeria could be restructured and each region controls their own resources, develop at their own pace, control their own security, control their own, of course, uh, immigrations and all that, they could check or checkmate the SSCs that has not been able to address collectively within the Nigerian state. And government will be very closer to the people. The regions that have shared ideologies, shared beliefs, shared sense of reasonings and perspective about life and peculiar issues that is local to them could find a way of addressing this within themselves or within the region, rather than believing in one man in Asorok who unfortunately cannot or have proven not to be in control of the nation, because Nigeria is divided. The territorial integrity of the Nigerian state has been widely, deeply, greatly compromised. How do I mean? Of course, if you have been listening to news and following the developments within the Nigerian state, you understand what I mean by that. I'm not messing words, and that is the reality. The Boko Haram, of course, are in the forefront, projecting their own Islamic caliphates, believing that the only way, of course, peace could be returned or restored, except they have their own Islamic caliphate. Billions, if not trillions, billions of dollars has been expended in the last 20 or 2 decades, 20 years. And of most recent, Sheikh Gumi made a public briefing that those who think that Boko Haram will go, they are wasting their time, because Boko Haram and banditry will continue in the next 2 decades, which means Nigeria should prepare for the worst. That if you're thinking that an end is coming on the hostility that is being unleashed by Boko Haram, you are wasting your time, because these people are being sponsored, they are more sophisticated, they have all it takes to destabilize the Nigerian state. That is what he's saying. So any attempt by the military or whatever security operatives will not succeed. That the Boko Haram has been well established within the Nigerian territory. And in pursuance of the agenda or collective interest, which is peculiar to the North, they will never cease oppression. But that is the truth. And Gumi making such revelations, I have not seen any northerner that came to say Gumi should be arrested, Gumi should be killed, DSS, Gumi should be picked wherever he is. But when you look keenly to that statement, you could understand the body language that this man is saying the truth. He's saying the opinion of the majority of the Northerners who believe they are not part of Nigeria, who believe they are more fulfilled if an Islamic state is entrenched, or if Nigeria is Islamized, they will have a better, of course, a breath, a heave, or a relief of a sense of fulfillment. But nobody said, go after Sheikh Gumi. Of course, once after people were commenting, the DSS invited him and also released him. But look at the case of Ohanaeze Ndibo, who went after Mazin Namdekan, who condemned the activities of Mazin Namdekan, even when Mazin Namdekan was only calling for restructuring in the interest of development, in the interest of fairness, equity, and justice for all. He was not just being selfish about the Igbos or about the Biafrans, as the case is, but he was saying, let's put things right, get it right for once, just exactly where we got it wrong in the first instance, and address those anomalies, address those injustices, show courage, show commitment to build a coherent system where everybody could be happy, where everybody will feel sense of identification and belonging. But that was misunderstood, or possibly because of their vested interests. Of course, the rest is history, but history is still in the making. Why do I say so? Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been renditioned, of course, incarcerated under DSS adjourned today, but that seems not to have changed any issue about the agitation for the restoration of Biafran state. The temple has been maintained. Of course, the energy is there, excitement, of course, the acceptance, the public acceptance is there, especially for those who comes from the eastern region. Now, what am I trying to say? If the Ohanaeze believe that restructuring is the only way to move forward, and now the master, the one who owns the country, have made his opinion, which is a law, which is an affirmation. You have no right to question when the master speaks. The master has spoken. And that, to me, I believe, represents 90% opinion of the northern people. Restructuring my foot. To hell with restructuring. Do you see the intonation? Do you see the diction? Can you read the body language? That nobody can succeed when it has to do with matters of restructuring, taking away the milk from us, taking away the control of the resources from the north. We are not going to allow that to happen. Restructuring my foot. And the Southerners are watching keenly in total dismay, frustration. Despite the fact that the president is from the South, they are telling you to your face, you dare not try this. Why? Because they have a control of the Senate and the House of Representatives. They have the population. They have the majority. They have the simple majority. So whatever bill that is being sponsored bordering on restructuring will resist swift opposition from the north. They were aligned together to frustrate that, and that means a defeated move, a defeated agenda, a defeated expectations. So as far as a northerner is concerned, an average northerner is concerned, restructuring my foot. And of course, the highest person under this administration, the second ranking citizen of Nigeria, have told you that restructuring my foot You can't do anything. The Oduduwas should go to places who are interested in restructuring Nigeria as against the balkanization of Nigeria. The Ohanaezes who believe that restructuring is the miracle that will turn around the fortune of Nigeria. That may be right to some extent, but how right they are will only, of course, be revealed in a matter of times. But as it stands now, such move, such cravings has hit the rock, and that rock is the northern rock. The cabals, the oligarchies, the people who owns Nigeria have told you they are not interested in restructuring, that you are conquered territory, that you're conquered person, whether you call yourself Ohanaeze or the president of Ohanaeze, your words does not matter. We have the final say. If you dare them, okay, pass the bill, sponsor the bill. When it gets to the National Assembly, we will tell you that we owns the country, and there's nothing you can do about this under this current system. Do you get it? Do you understand what where we are going or where we are headed to? These are realities cannot be denied. These are realities that cannot be denied. Now, if that being the case, as we are seeing today, that the supposed attempt to call for the that is the reality. Let us have your own take regarding this. Of course, we'll follow up with the comments. Okay, let's see if there is any comment we can discuss here. It is just a briefing. We'll continue with this discussion so that we will get into the deep roots and appreciate the problems before us and appreciate there is need to address this as a matter of urgency. Why? Because it is a dead end. The structuring in Nigeria within this current system is a dead end because is going to receive the great resistance or opposition by anyone sponsoring the bill. So you can now understand why the indigenous people of Biafra or the Biafrans are saying we are fed up with Nigeria, we are fed up with restructuring. It does not foster any prospect, it does not foster any future. They have not seen the future in restructuring because they knew that it will end up becoming a dead end. Restructuring my foot. To hell with restructuring. With this alacrity, with this boldness, with this confrontation, of course, others group or regions calling for restructuring have been silenced. And the Simon and his Biafra Republic government in Israel are saying, of course, are laughing at them because they knew that nothing like restructuring. They will not allow restructuring to surface, to survive, to see the light of the day. These are the realities staring at us. Now, what can you do? To go back to the drawing boards and see how you can beat their intelligence, their strategies, and how you can dislodge the North or reduce their population in the National Assembly? Well, that is, of course, a puzzle for everyone to solve, especially those who are calling for restructuring at this time. It has hit the Zuma rock, and those who believe they own the country have said, this is our stand. Is our stance as it regards this subject. We don't believe in restructuring. Restructuring my foot to go to hell means it is a dead end and nothing you can do about that. Well, let's see your own position regarding this and what you feel, of course, will be the way forward. In subsequent editions, we will be looking deeply into this, and I hope it promises to be an interactive and very, of course, exciting one. As the case is, you cannot understand and appreciate that we have more problem that we envisage within the Nigerian states. There are more problems than we are seeing. You can now understand. And the vice president went further to say, you only want to create job, you only want to create opportunities. How do you create opportunities? That would have given you opportunity to create more opportunity for people, to make more of an opportunity real and available to people. The multinationals are leaving and they're asking, why are they leaving? Why can't they leave? If it was favorable for them, the Nigerian environment is favorable to them, if the Nigerian atmosphere, business or economic atmosphere is favorable to them, they won't have any reason to leave because they are here to make profits. They are here for business, serious business. And when they see that instead of making progress, they are being retrogressive, they are being frustrated and hampered. The government policies and the current realities, inflation, index, insecurity, of course, has pushed them out of the Nigerian market to a regions or states that are more safer, more conducive for them to operate. What does that mean? More pain, agony, more sufferings, more retrenchment, more loss of job, more poverty hitting the Nigerian state as never before. More retrenchment, loss of job is looming because they are living like with the speed of light. Now, how will you attract multinationals? They are living. And you're telling them why are they living? They should stop. They have seen the handwriting on the wall. They have seen the red line. They have seen that there is no better prospect. That if they continue this, they will lose their wealth. They will lose their resources. They will lose their capital. And you are not paying attention. Why is this so? And you are still opposed to restructuring. Oh my God. This is quite very unfortunate indeed. Very sad. That if multinationals are leaving, who has created more jobs and opportunities for Nigerians? There are, of course, chains of industries, chains of economy, business, and all that. They will be affected. Now, unfortunately, Ohanaeze and Oduduwa, the Middle Belt Forum, have been defeated on matters of restructuring. And I believe at the Senate, it will not see the light of the day because the majority is the North. Whether it will survive is just by chance. That is the truth. And from the body language of the vice president, you understand there is no way forward. If those banking on restructuring of Nigeria will be just wasting or whiling their times. No wonder the renewed quest for secession or restoration of the Biafran state have gained more momentum, had gained more energy than ever imagined. People believe that they are no longer part of Nigeria or are not even given opportunity to contribute to the progress of the country, to the existence or progress of humanity within this contraption. And as such, they will continue to silence them, they will continue to suppress and oppress them. So I think you begin to reason, of course, and understand the enormity of the burdens we are to bear and the challenges ahead. Then how do we navigate this? How do we address those silent points, those critical issues that has remained untouched and disaster is looming? The children would have given us an opportunity to address those issues and, of course, discuss the common existence, the continued existence of Nigeria, if so be it. If that becomes necessary to continue as an entity. If not, well, there are more smaller countries who are more smaller than less than 10 million by population. They are doing exceedingly well. If you should split Nigeria by three, you have not done anything wrong. If that will foster unity, coherence, and progress for each regions. Well, I think that could be welcome idea, because you can't be stuck in the wheel of motionless and despair, answering the giant of Africa, but in poverty, taking the lead as the center of world poverty. Now that the multinationals are living like smaller countries, just like Ghana here, Gambia, Congo. You know what that means? That is more calamity, more disaster, more taxations. The country we continue to leverage on borrowing, because you would have generated, of course, external income from these multinationals, but that is not the case. We are losing it, and it's quite unfortunate. Let me, of course, round it up here. This is quite disturbing. It does not give anyone who understands where or the time and season we are in. Of course, you will begin to weep, because Nigeria is heading to the cliff. We are just at the verge of total collapse. But some, of course, are indifferent. They don't care whatever happens. If holding on to Nigeria will lead to total collapse, let's hold on onto it, provided no other part, no other region or ethnic nationality have control of Nigeria. Well, to me, in my opinion, I don't support any violence. But the reality is that if you don't restructure Nigeria, there will be catastrophe. Because those who are calling for restructuring Nigeria have seen that Nigeria cannot continue to move forward without addressing those issues. Restructure means addressing those peculiar, pertinent issues that have bedeviled us, that have kept us in the wheel of motionless and despair, frustrated. I mean, look at the Japa syndrome. Everybody is living, even those that have source of livelihood. They are living the source of this country. People are living. Talents are living the source of Nigeria. Doctors are living. Teachers are living. Even the wheelbarrow people are living, because even the current situation does not guarantee their safety. Everybody is living except the politicians, except the political class that are enjoying whatever is happening, because there are too much money to share within themselves, just as Jonathan, the past president, the ex-president, noted in his public address to mark the Democracy Day. He said, we cannot continue to have a country where the children of politicians are spraying dollars in party. People who have never experienced work, people who have not worked for themselves to earn a living, to earn, who does not understand the dignity of labor, are the ones spreading dollars. This came from an ex-president of Nigeria. We can't continue to have a Nigeria where the children of the politicians are spreading dollars, because there is enough dollars. They don't know what the value of that. They don't know that the people within the Nigerian state are dying of hunger. Life is becoming more miserable. Life is becoming more. Even I myself, I'm not finding it funny. Only to sustain this program on monthly basis, I know how much data I spend. Everything has been hiked. Everybody to himself. God's for us all. If you're dull, let the devil text you. Nobody cares. You see people protesting, people doing this, but no solution is coming. Some said the renewed hope is a renewed hope of hopelessness. We can continue to have a country where the children of politicians, the children of governors, The children of presidents and ex-presidents, of ministers, are throwing dollars, are spraying dollars in parties, buying champagne, spending more than 20 million, 50 million in a single day in a party. The same politicians find it difficult to pay minimum wage. What is the global acceptable minimum wage? What is the minimum wage for Canada? What is the minimum wage for America? What is the minimum wage for those in Europe? Can you equate it with the 62,000? What is 62,000? 62,000 cannot polish a shoe. I was shocked. I was very shocked. Going to get one or two things. What that what was usually bought for 1,200 or at most 1,500 naira today is 6,500. Now calculate the increment. Could you call that increment? This is explosive. A bag of rice is how many thousand now? 80 something thousand. Even with that 80 something thousand, you will see still sand. Sand. I don't know how long I ate such rice with sand. What is exactly happening within Nigerian states? All these things shows you that there is fire on the mountain, and we can't continue to live in denial of the reality. And unfortunately, disaster is looming and is catching up with all our sundry. But some think they have built a safe haven for themselves, and they could not be part of whatever calamity that will befall humanity within this space or contraption called Nigeria. But the reality is that humanity has been brought to its lowest ebb within the Nigerian state. People's living or standard of living is nothing to write home about. I'm not insulting, I'm not trying to castigate, but these are realities. If you have friends, if you have loved ones who are in Nigeria and they have not complained to you, they have not called you, especially if you are somebody that relates with them, then you know that I'm lying. You know that what I'm saying is not true. You may have seen, of course, you may have also been the way some may be pestering you for those who have people in diaspora and all that. But what about those who doesn't have any help coming from anywhere? How do you expect them to survive? What becomes their fate? What becomes their future within this system that doesn't even care whether they exist, that doesn't have their data base, that doesn't have, I mean, any better prospect for them? No, what do you think? I listened to the news interaction. They said even those when there were then when the government dish out palliative, it does not get to the targeted or to those who need it. It will be hijacked, sold off, diverted. This impunity, corruption is very endemic. No wonder one of the leader of the superpowers they said that Nigeria is fantastically corrupt. The word fantastically corrupt is what is playing out. Nobody can deny the realities. But that is unfortunate. Why? Unfortunate in the sense that we humans, within the Nigerian state, have no interest in the development of humanity. That is what I saw. And to some, they have lost hope in the existence or continuity of Nigeria. Some youths haven't sampled their opinions. They said the last hope they have for Nigeria was 2023 presidential election. They trooped out, they voted under the sun, under the rain, but they believe they were differentized. They believe most of them were differentized, and those who participated, the outcome of the election was in contradiction to the expectation. Of course, they claim who they voted for never won. And when you stress that, you understand there was conspiracies to subvert the will of the people that is expressed in the election. And that is quite unfortunate. That is quite unfortunate. They have lost hope. Saying they have lost hope is an understatement. If you doubt me, come on the streets of Lagos, come on the streets of the north. Come on, I heard there was a protest going somewhere around the southwest, and it was interrupted or whatever happens. I don't get the real information, but whatever happens, people, of course, when His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu visited his Bodilon or Lagos, his state, you saw people were shouting, ranting, Ebim Pami, Ebim Pami. That was when it was about 3 months in office or 4 months or thereabout. Now, Ebim Pami has born children. They don't get multiple pregnancy and have given child to uh, quadruplets. The Ebim Pami that is currently in Nigeria now has given birth to quadruplets or whatever you may call it. So it is Ebim Pami raised to the power of 7. How do we survive this? It's not a laughing matter. People are just depressed. People don't know where next, what next. Of course, the value of the currency has been bastardized. Inflation is double digits, strong double digits, about 30, between 33 to 35% now. You know what that means? That for every 100 naira, the value of 100 naira have been lost 35%. The purchasing power is nothing to write home about. Where do you see the money, let alone purchasing? No, where do you see the money? It's when people work, it's when people engage meaningfully, in when business are moving, everybody is complaining. That's the truth. Of most recent, the federal government of Nigeria apologized to Nigerians for the level of hardship. It was not intended, according to them, but the decision is a hard decision they must take in order to move forward. You are taking hard decision to move forward. But how do you intend to navigate, get out of these woods? Anytime soon, there was no clear roadmap. Well, I wouldn't go into that because that is not my interest today. My interest is that the so-called restructuring, the call for restructuring, is a dead end because of the current realities. Those who believe they own Nigeria will never allow it to surface or to see the light of the day. And what does that mean? More hopes will be dashed, more insecurity, more anarchy will be entrenched within the system. It will be the survival of the fittest. It is quite unfortunate. But these things would have been addressed long ago. There wouldn't have been need to double into this if the politicians or the political class or political elites has been honest and sincere to build a system they could trust. They build a system that will enhance the very essence of humanity, that will give people a meaning to their lives. That wouldn't have been. What does it take to address these issues, if not for selfishness? Restructuring will foster good governance, development, healthy competitions, and what have you. But anyone opposing the structuring, what does he or she have to bring to the table to address the myriad of problems? The military personnel are also complaining. In a saner society, in a sane society, the teachers, the security operatives or the personnel, the doctors who are in charge of the welfare, the health of the experience we do have sometimes. Sorry about the network glitch, the downtime. Well, I would want to appreciate everyone who has been part of this program today. Thank you for tuning in. I want to call it a day because of the network interruption or the downtime. Thank you once again for being part of this program today. I do appreciate. I remain Chigozen Debo, wishing you the best of the rest of the day, of course, wherever you might be watching us from. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. And of course, share this video, let it go viral. Let people get to understand and appreciate the predicaments, the challenge, the monster that is confronting us as a people today. And of course, begin to think how to provide a lasting solution, not to address the symptoms, not to address the symptoms, but we must dig deep to the root of the problem and solve it once and for all. What do you think would be the best approach to solving, having a lasting solution to the problems of insecurity and, of course, misgovernance within the Nigerian state? Thank you once again. Remember, blessed until I come your way in subsequent edition to continue, of course, these interactions and in-depth analysis. Remember, blessed once again and have a great day. Bye for now.